Hello and welcome back to the Sideboard here at SCG St. Louis. I'm Nick Miller alongside Kent Ketter. How are you doing today?
Doing great, doing great.
You might recognize Kent because he's made the finals of both the Columbus Open Standard, of course, and Nashville Open Standard.
Yes.
Now, you're back again, 6-0
Yep.
with Jund monsters as
Yes.
opposed to your previous iterations of green-red monsters,
Yep.
and you were playing a red-white.
Red-White
Back in
Devotion,
Columbus.
for Columbus.
Now, tell us about the transition from green-red monsters to Jund monsters.
So, I had success in Nashville. PTQ'd the next weekend with basically the exact same deck list. Made a couple changes, added some planeswalkers, and I just realized that monsters it's going to become popular.
Yes.
People like to turn dudes sideways. You know, mountains are awesome. Play more mountains. And on the car ride back from a PTQ, I was kind of thinking, hey, how do I win the mirror? I need to decisively win the mirror because currently green-red monsters in the mirror is a coin flip.
Pretty much.
So what I decided to do was add the black, and looking at it, I realized that the black was a free splash. Thought about this on Sunday, put a list on paper, and then StarCityGames.com's Cedric Phillips published the article on the free side talking about Jund monsters and just going over the exact same things I was thinking. Initially, I tested my own version where I played Rampagers because I like the interaction between Rampager and Reaper of the Wilds.
Oh, yeah.
The Death Touch Trample, kill you, sounds great. And then I realized that Cedric is much smarter than me. So I decided to just play his list.
Right.
I played about 10 hours before switching to his list, and then I probably put about 15 to 20 after. And Reaper of the Wilds and all the black cards are just the exact answer I was looking for.
Explain how the black splash is free, as you say.
Yes, so it's free because Green Red Monsters has one of the most consistent mana bases, access to mana in the format. You're able to play 7 forests, 6 mountains, roughly, and play 2 Mutavaults. Well, all those basics are nice and all, but since there's nothing in the format to punish non-basics, it was just one of those things where you turn your forests into overgrown tombs and you turn your mountains into blood crypts, and now you have 8 black sources plus Caryatids is 12, and then I love Scrylands because Scrying's a way of life, and the red-black Scryland was the perfect 5th one, so that's 13 black sources at no cost thanks to Corsair Crew Fix.
And you still got Mutavault in the deck despite being 3 colors.
Absolutely, because two Mutavaults just the advantage you can get against mono black with being able to play a Mutavault, tap down a demon, you sack it to its upkeep, to its trigger, or blue white. Wrath you, cool, kill you.
Now, Corsair Crew Fix is a card that just everyone seems to be jamming in their decks today because it's interactions with other cards. Explain why you like it so much in this deck.
I love Corsair Crew Fix because of the obvious Domri rate.
Right.
So the ability to know what's on top, so you can decide to fight. Most of the times you just plus anyway, or if it's a land, obviously it comes off for Corsair for free. And then the really neat interaction where previously I had Chandra, which let me kind of get anything I want off the top of the deck. Now with Reaper of the Wilds, it's going to do the exact same thing. Creatures are going to die, is kind of just how this deck plays out.
Yeah.
If your opponent doesn't have creatures, you should be in good shape. If your creatures aren't dying, you're definitely in good shape.
Yeah.
So it just kind of, Reaper ended up being much more interesting in helping Corsair just maximize the potential. I believe in one of my top 8 matches against Black-White in Nashville, I didn't play a card from my hand, more or less, for about 3 turns.
Right.
Because it was just, Corsair land and play, flipped, plus Domri, play that creature, repeat this process ad nauseum, and it really invalidates the thought seizes and stuff like that. So
the incremental advantage you gain off of the Corsair just makes up for the discard.
Yes.
Just punishes it. And of course, the rest of the monsters build with Stormbreath Dragon, the Lucranos, all the big guys to just bash your face. And then of course the Black Splash allows Dreadboard a 2-mana answer to opposing Domries, and other troublesome planeswalkers. Have you ran against any Kioras or any troublesome planeswalkers today other than Domri?
No Kioras today. A couple Elspeths. If your blue-white opponents are forced to Elspeth early, and they're just making 3 tokens,
3 guys.
You get to then Dreadboard, and they paid 6 mana for 3 1/1s, and you're pretty far ahead at that point, or at least I like to think we are.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry, go ahead.
The other thing is Dreadboard really, with the Planeswalkers, it's great, but also you get to deal with all these weird decks at the Star City Opens. You know, people love to brew, show up with, turn their guys sideways, and the fact you have just another removal spell that will kill anything but Master Waves, pretty comforting. It's just kind of a catch-all.
Dreadboard just seems insanely well positioned in the metagame right now, with either everyone playing a lot of creatures or everyone playing a lot of Planeswalkers. So, now talk about the sideboard options. The black-red, or the red, or the black, you know, gives you Rakdos returns.
Yes.
How many matchups is that coming in, and how powerful has it been for you today?
It comes in against all of your blue-white variants. I mean, the power level of the card is almost on the level in the appropriate matchups of Stormbreath Dragon. Against blue-white, if you resolve a Rakdos return for usually any amount, especially if they have a Planeswalker in play, you know, you're probably going to interact profitably with the Planeswalker, take majority of their hand, if not all of it.
Yeah.
And it also just gives you the ability to kill your opponent outside of the red zone. Against Kiora decks, that's especially important.
Yeah.
A lot of people are liking to get in the lock of Elspeth, Kiora, like Azorius Charm. They just keep you, you know, and if you could just blow up one of those pieces, it kind of tumbles down upon itself.
Gives you that added reach as well.
Yes, yes, yes.
Now, a lot of people have been moving toward Gruel Charm as well. It's just this, you know, niche card. How good has it been for you, and what is your favorite mode on it?
So, Gruel Charm's been more beneficial than anything else I could play against Mono Blue. And that's the intent of the card, is for Mono Blue. Some people play it in the red-green sideboard to give a falter, you know, for the mirror.
Right.
But since I have actual removal, I don't have to use it in that mode. I get to use it against Mono Blue. My favorite mode has to be regain control of permanents that you own, simply because my stuff is mine and don't touch it. So
seems even better for the Mono Blue.
Yeah.
They go to domesticate something.
Yep.
So go ahead and take that back.
And I'll hand that over here. It's really hard to pick one mode. I like to think the fact that it's so good just because it's so versatile. I've cast every single mode against Mono Blue and been impressed.
And that's really what you want in a sideboard card, is something that has a bunch of effects.
Yep.
You know, and then all of the effects are good.
Yeah.
Last card in the sideboard, Sire Insanity.
Yes.
Is this another anti-control card? Or?
Yes. Sire Rurikthar and Xenagos, God of Rebels, are all kind of the same slot. They're all a high-impact monster that, when it resolves, it's interacting with your opponent without it directly being in the red zone. So, like, Xenagos, obviously, you know, makes all your Xenagos, God of Rebels, makes all of your creatures bigger, faster, increases your clock, but it never has to swing. So that means, you know, it's
no Azorius Charm.
Yeah, no Azorius Charm, no Celestial Flare. Sire, on the other hand, it does the same thing, but you get to do my personal favorite of cast Sire, pass the turn, and watch the look of despair in your opponent's face as their perfectly sculptured hand is now being placed in the bin.
Yeah.
And if any deck wants to just go off the top to figure it out, it's monsters. I don't think it's close.
Yeah. The amount of draws you have to top that are just high impact.
Also, my card advantage engine with Reaper, Domri, and Corsair, cards don't have to go in my hands. I'm okay with playing one spell a turn, but because of my ability to manipulate the top of the deck, my top decks are usually better. So,
well, I appreciate you joining us here in the sideboard, Kent. Hopefully with a few more wins and maybe possible draws, you'll have your third standard top 8 of this season.
Yeah.
You know, that's pretty crazy.
We'll see how it's going. Just cast some spells and see what people are up to today.
All right. So for Kent Ketter, I'm Nick Miller on the sideboard. See you guys later, and stay tuned for more at SCG St. Louis.